All right, hello everyone, it's silverkyle, and today I am going to be going over everything that I picked up in the month of October 2020. Not really a lot of things, I guess, this time around, but some interesting things, definitely, that are quite unique, quite different, and they were kind of expensive as well. Having a hard time to figure out if they're worth it or not. I will be doing an unboxing of these because I just have not been home in the past month. October, I've just been extremely busy and not at home very often. But I did end up getting the Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, the Mario and Luigi sets. The Luigi set is technically my brother's. My brother came down so he lives a few provinces away from me, and I haven't seen him in a year, which is totally unlike us at all. But he had moved there a year ago. We were planning on visiting him in April, but everything that was going on, we couldn't do that. And then he ended up instead of flying over, because it's just not the greatest time to be flying right now, so he decided to drive over. Took him 2 days to get here. While he was down, we decided that we had to pick these up. They actually had some at Walmart on, I think, the second day that this came out. They actually still had some, and these were the last two that were actually there. So we were very happy to find these, and it's a lot of fun, but it's relatively expensive for the fun that you're getting, and it is much better also being able to play two players with the actual carts. If you don't have the carts, like if you only have one cart, I don't know. And I think that the more carts that you have, if you can have up to 4 carts, that would just be an insane amount of fun, because it's so hilarious and fun to even watch as a spectator, watching other people play, and you can kind of see where their carts are going. I absolutely love that aspect. I think that we created a few interesting tracks, and we were kind of getting on the right track, and then the pun wasn't unfortunately intended that time around, where we had actually planned out, or we're getting better at making these tracks. And what I think would be the best, because I've seen things online, is to actually create a track and kind of create the actual backgrounds. I think that makes things a lot more fun and interesting, because you can kind of create, when you have to create your own track, you basically take your cart, you drive it around, and then you create the layout for it. So you can kind of take your time and make these really wide turns and things like that to make it a little bit harder for when you're actually trying to go much faster. And then so the tracks themselves can be kind of fun, and you try to go under things and all that kind of stuff. It's very hard. We still haven't mastered the aspect of trying to go over something like a big hill or something, because you'd have to have it so small at the beginning so the cart could actually drive on top of it. And it's so weird too, because when you're actually playing it like this, right? When you're in that aspect, when you're playing with the camera and you're looking at the switch, it seems like it's so much faster. But then you look at it in real life, and the cart's just going so slow. It's really interesting. I don't know necessarily if it's 100% worth it right now. I will say that if you are going to be playing this, definitely at least have a second player with the cart. But then you are looking at like 2 of these. I was lucky enough that my brother wanted to split, so he got himself one and I got myself one. If you could have like 4 friends though, that you can come and go hang out with and play 4 players and create these really magnificent tracks with stuff in the background, like you can have a bunch of like video games. If you have any statues or figures or something like that are video game related, that makes it even better. And you can always have these different themes. I think you could really have really cool Halloween and Christmas themes as well if you have some extra decorations lying around. Like, you can make these really crazy amounts of fun. The other thing too is that when you're actually playing it on the Switch, is that you can they'll have different tracks so that you can actually they CGI add in some artificial things that are going on in the background, so it's actually different. So even though the track might be the same physically, what you're seeing will look a little bit different. So you can go underwater and things like that. So they do try to change it up quite a bit. There's Rainbow Road, all this kind of stuff. So I think that the more creative that you are, like doing stuff like this, definitely will help out and add to the aspect of this. I also think that kids would absolutely love this, though. I think that as a kid, I would have been freaking out. My brother and I would have made so many different tracks, like just constantly creating new ones, probably making these extravagant plans, like where we probably have like back in the day, if we were talking about late 90s, we probably would have had like definitely a Pokemon themed track. We would have had probably some Final Fantasy 9, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, Dragon Ball Z. I think we would have tried to create so many different ideas and actually tried to write these all out, drawn them. Probably Spider-Man, wrestling back then we were really into. I still am, but he's not anymore. But by the time we were, so I think that the more creative a mind that you have, the more fun you can have with this. Is expensive, but that's generally what this hobby entails. Last two things that we're going to talk about here are, and I will be doing an unboxing of these very soon. I talked about this for way too long. I only have so many things to talk about here, and I feel like I wanted to share this much with you. Anyway, shut up, Kyle. Move on. Two Omnibus here that came out in the month of October that I actually got around the time that, or no, this one came out in October, and I got it maybe a few days late, but I was very happy that I still got it, and only a few days late, so very happy with that, which is the Spider-Man Ben Reilly Volume 2 Omnibus. Unfortunately, I don't have the Clone Saga Volume 1 and 2 and the Ben Reilly Volume 1 Omnibus that kind of precede this to get the full story, but there's so much art in here by John Romita Jr. This is a John Romita Jr. cover, and look at all those titles. That is my era of Spider-Man. I love this so much. The Peter Parker Spider-Mans, that's because it's John Romita Jr. drawing it. I love this stuff. I would love to get into this, but that issue I have specifically. I love that issue. Don't get caught up while we're not getting it. Yeah, don't do that, Kyle. But yeah, would love to get the previous volumes, but they are out of stock. I hope that they come back into stock. I don't think though that the Clone Saga ones sold very well. The Ben Reilly, I felt Volume 1, that one sold out relatively quickly last year. And I think it's just because so many people are getting into the Omnibus game at this point in time. So I think that a lot more Omnibus are selling out, which is good in the sense that they're doing well, and they'll probably keep these coming back into print every once in a while. But it's just, I don't know how long I'll have to wait before I can finally read the whole Clone Saga, essentially 4 parts, the 2 Clone Sagas and then the Ben Reilly stuff. All right, next up is Heroes Reborn: The Return. Last year, Heroes Reborn came out. That one went out of stock relatively quickly. I thought I'd have tons of time to get that, and I can't remember how long I waited. Maybe just a few months, potentially. I could be wrong on this. It might have been longer than that. But I went to go pick it up, and I was like, it's out of stock everywhere. And I was like, how is that possible? So I definitely wanted to pre-order this. This came out in September, but I ended up getting it in October because it was a little bit late. But I'm still very happy that I do have this. I think I probably would have preferred the storylines that they had for Heroes Reborn instead of the Return stuff. The Return stuff doesn't look as interesting to me, but I also have no idea. And there's some Hulk stuff in here that I am looking forward to, so we'll see about that. But there you go. That's everything that I picked up in the month of October. Not too crazy. I do think that this month, the month of November, depending on if I get a lot of my pre-orders specifically for Omnibus, we could have a good amount of things to talk about. But it all depends on how things go. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to try to do some more content here. Sorry about that. So you have all been bearded in. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Beardage!